Let's introduce today's lesson talking about what Mataix said in one of his many trips. He said that the man who calculated found near an old inn 3 men who were arguing loudly next to a lot of camels. They were all furious, and they shouted disrespectfully non-stop. "Well, it can't be, this is a robbery, I don't accept it," one of them said. Our intelligent protagonist, who happens to be the man who calculated, tried to find out why they were shouting. They told him that they were 3 brothers, and that they had received as inheritance the 35 camels. The one who spoke said the following: "According to the will of our father, I should receive half of the older brother. My brother a third part, and Haram the youngest the 9th part of the whole. We don't know, however, how to divide the 35 camels that way, and each division that one proposes, the other 2 protest." Well, we have to notice that half of 35 is 17 and a half, and since it is already the 3rd part and the 9th, we see that these are not exact divisions. Logically, they did not have an advanced tool like Excel at hand. When we read this story logically, we are tempted and quickly we are going to open the program to try to solve this problem. Let's see how to resolve the problem known as the 35 camels dilemma. Well, with all the data, we know that we have to put them directly in the spreadsheet. That is what we are doing right now. We see that we have been told that there are 3 brothers, and that those 3 brothers must receive a quantity, a fraction of that total, of the whole flock of camels. Well, so, the older brother says that he has to receive half. We know how to express fractions in Excel. Let's type a 0, a space, and 1-2. So here we are going to express the half, which is what the first brother must receive. The second brother must receive a third. And as for the third brother, he must receive only a 9th. Well, and here the problem is raised, of course, because the half, if we make the expression that calculates the half of that total, it is this fraction of this total. We multiply the half of 35 and we already have effectively that to the older brother, he receives 17 and a half camels. Well, and they did not know very well what the others had to do. Well, we see that this expression is related to these 2 cells, which, logically, we have to vary in order to be able to transfer this expression to the lower 2 cells. Alright, so this whole operation is actually very simple. We have to make B1 a reference. In order to do this operation correctly, we have to make it so it is an absolute reference. And then, of course, we would also have to have a mixed reference. In this case, we already know that we can expand the fill pattern. After doing this, we would have that the second brother should get 11 camels and 2/3, and the remaining 3 camels and 8/9 would be for the third brother. As it is logical, these people did not know how to solve this problem very well, to which our protagonist said, "It was very simple indeed. I will take care of doing this division if the 3 of you allow me to put together the 35 camels of the inheritance, the beautiful animal that brought us here at the right time." As it is obvious, the man who narrates the action, who happens to be the companion of our protagonist, protests because he is the owner of said camel. The companion now said, "I cannot consent to such madness. How could we reach our end destination without a camel?" And our intelligent main character said, "Well, do not worry about the result, trust me. I know very well what I am doing." Well, the protagonist ended up gaining his companion's trust, and he let him add his own camel to this set of 35. You might be wondering what happened then. Well, what happened is that, instead of 35 camels, we now have 36. Well then, if we apply the exact same fractions logically, to apply them, of course, we first have to go here to B3, and tell it that B3 is a mixed reference. But we are going to set the B so that when we copy to the right, the B does not transform into C. If we want to remove the B, then we would have to say F4. $B3, of course, logically, nothing should happen in this column. But the interesting thing is that we now, this range, this mixed references product, $B3 by B$1, when we copy it to the right, it will give us the new result, which is what the man who calculated was looking for, which is that, effectively, the measure of 36 is 18, the third part 12, and then there would only be 4 camels remaining. Well, this is what this person has achieved. And indeed, I am going, friends, to make an exact division of the camels, which are now 36. And coming back to the old man, he told him, I should have received 17 and a half, the half of 35. You will receive, on the other hand, the half of 36, that is 18. You have nothing to complain about. Well, it is very clear that you are winning with this division. Going to the second one, I tell him, you must receive the third part of 35, that is 11 and a half, which we have in the Excel calculated exactly how much. You are going to receive a third of 36, that is 12. You will not be able to protest, because it is also evident that you win with the change. And finally, the youngest one told him, the second will of your father is to receive the 9th part of 35, 3 camels and part of another, the 8/9, those that we had calculated. I will give you the 9th part of 36, which is 4, and your reward will also be evident. So all you have to do is thank me for the result. Well, logically, the story ends right away, when the main character tells his companion that for this advantageous division, which has favored all of you, it will be 18, 12 and 4, which is what we have calculated in our Excel. And out of the 36 camels, we see that there are 2 left. That is, if we make a sum here, we have spent only 34 camels, which are the ones that have helped this person, and there are 2 left. And with that, the man who calculated logically says that out of the 36 that are left, therefore, one belongs, as you know, to my friend, which is the one they had added. He returns it, and the other, it is up to me by right to have resolved the satisfaction of all this difficult problem of inheritance. Logically, they tell him that he is very smart, and he leaves with his camel. Thank you very much for listening to today's lesson. See you all in the next one.